Warning, the following program contains scenes of graphic stupidity between a man and some games. Don't take anything I don't say too serious, I'm just messing around. This video should not be viewed by anyone.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Scum. Today we are going to be talking about feet. Wait, let me explain. Not too long ago, the game got a new update that brought a couple of new things to the game, including a new threat, sort of say, and that is trench foot. Now, we can get this by walking around with wet feet for a period of time. And today I wanted to see and experience that. I actually made my way over to the B0 swamps and I spent a little bit of time in the water. And as it turns out, it takes quite some time to get this trench thing going. I spent about 30 minutes in the water before actually getting it. And as I have said, this occurs when our feet are wet for a period of time. It has the following symptoms: wet feet and pain. And when it comes to healing these, there is no actual treatment needed other than drying our feet, and that includes taking off any layers of clothing like shoes or socks. Now, I got the C1 trench in about half an hour, as I've said, so I had to be wet for about 30 minutes before contracting this. And going up from C1 to C2, it took about 16 minutes, something along those lines, but I was still at 92% health. But some of the damage that I took was from hypothermia, because I did get hypothermia as well whilst I was in the water. So some of the damage taken came from hypothermia as well. But I was still at 92% with hypothermia and the trench foot. Now, going from C2 up to C3, it took about the same time. It was a bit longer with like a minute or so, but pretty much the same. And at this point, I was at 96% health. I healed up my hypothermia by walking around, so my health went a bit more up. But that was my health after going from C1 up to C3 and getting hypothermia as well. I was still at 96% health. I managed to heal up the hypothermia by just jogging around for a little bit, but with the C3 trench, I did start limping around. So the next order of business was, of course, healing this. I made a fire, I took off my shoes and my socks, and in a matter of about 10 or so seconds, my trench went from C3 into the stabilization phase, like instantly. So it doesn't take a long time to get into the stabilization phase after taking off the wet shoes or socks. Now, when it comes to the snowy environment, it's been changed up a little bit, and the snow is going to make us wet real fast. So things are a bit more hardcore up in the snowy bits. Now, with the basic shoes that we spawn with, our feet are going to get instantly wet. They got wet as soon as I touched the snow. So I decided to test out a handful of different shoes. For example, the rubber construction boots. As soon as I put them on, my wetness started going down, so they keep our feet dry, and it makes sense since they are made out of rubber. I also tested out the hiking boots, and I was a bit surprised by the hiking boots because my wetness started to slowly go up. Slowly, very slow, but it still went up. I had wet feet. So the hiking boots don't really keep us all that dry when it comes to our feet. It's not that big of a problem because it's slowly going up, and we have enough time to just stop somewhere and dry ourselves off. Now, the combat boots kept me dry. Same with the motorcycle boots. It said that wet feet were at 0%, so I wasn't getting wet since it was at 0%, but it still showed wet feet. I know it sounds weird, but it showed wet feet at 0%, so my feet were wet, but they were not, because it was at 0. I walked around with them for a little bit and it stayed at 0, so I'm not exactly sure. I'm just gonna chalk it up to they keep us dry. And there we go. That was my experience with the new threat, the trench. It's not that big of a threat, and we have plenty of time to deal with our feet being wet, because going up to C1 it takes quite a lot of time, so we don't instantly contract it, which is nice because I've been looking up on the interwebs and it takes quite a bit of time to actually contract this in real life, pretty much. So it's nice that it's not instant in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It takes quite a bit of time, and it gives us the chance to actually dry ourselves off. And we don't take too much damage either. The limping with the C3 trench is the worst, but besides that, I think it's not too bad, sort of say. But there we go, that's about it for today. I hope you've enjoyed. In case you did, be sure to drop some stuff and things down below. Make sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for taking the time and hanging out, and I will see you in the next one with some more video games.